the Quinn Marr Show.
This show is brought to you by Bing Pot Trivia. How many times have you been to a trivia night where it just felt like somebody reading questions? Well, Bing Pot Trivia prides themselves on bringing high-energy, dynamic hosts to every event. The show leans heavily on visual elements. Their questions are designed to make you laugh or roll your eyes, while also challenging your knowledge on pop culture, high school science, culinary arts, and everything in between. Their typical show runs 5 rounds, including a photo round, general knowledge on pop culture, riffs on different game shows, absurd 50-50 questions, and a super sweet music round. Check out bingpottrivia.com today to book your trivia night. Again, that is at bingpottrivia.com. Tell my boy Danny that your friend Quinn sent you. All right, let's get on with the show. My next guest is a literal staple of the Halloween season, but we'll get to that. She had a near-death experience at only 22 years old, though through a twist of fate, she was able to save herself. She's been a real estate agent, an actress, and now an author. It is my pleasure to welcome to the Quinn Marr Show, Hocus Pocus's Emily Binx, a.k.a. Amanda Shepard. Amanda, what is going on?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Well, I do appreciate you joining me today. This will be released on Halloween, so that's why I'm wearing this sweater. It's like Freddy Krueger. I don't normally wear this on a regular basis. We're matching. You got the same color.
I know. We're twinsies.
I love it. So, how are you?
I'm doing good. I took care of all my Halloween fun earlier on because, on actual Halloween, it's just going to be too crazy. So cops, all that stuff. So I'm like, nope. I'm staying here on Halloween.
For you, for Halloween, do you do any Hocus Pocus themed things? Like how do you celebrate the day?
I mean, usually on Halloween, I'm doing an event and doing signings. And this year I was like, nah, I just want it to be chill. I want to stay at home.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. I'm sure you've had a lot of it. So,
oh yeah,
you deserve it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like every Halloween for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about like you getting Hocus Pocus and like everything that leads up to that, and then of course everything after, because there is a lot. So you grew up in Malibu. So like for you as a kid, what did your parents do for work?
So my father was a real estate agent. And then my mother owned a beauty salon.
Okay, nice. So for you, do you have siblings?
I have an older brother. He's 5 years older than I am. Yeah.
Okay. So when you were a kid growing up in California, because that's not a I would say a normal childhood, just because like the California lifestyle and stuff. At least you were away from like LA and stuff. But like, what were your interests growing up? Like, was it movies? Was it sports, reading, music? Like, what was Amanda Shepard like as a kid?
Oh God. I was into everything. I was into dance. I was into sports. Since I was literally like 4 or 5 years old, I wanted to be an actress. So I was obsessed with acting. I wanted to be a model. So I did that. Like I said, I got into dance and sports, and I was always busy, driving my parents crazy. Drive me here, drive me there, drive me.
So that like, were you like the kind of girl that was just like you'd watch stuff on TV and like try to act it out, or like you'd make up like your little own movies at home with your friends? Is that like the kind of thing you were doing?
No. What's strange is my father. I remember the exact time that this happened, like when it hit me that I wanted to be an actor. My father was watching this like old show called Quantum Leap. I don't know if you
I've heard of it. I've never watched him. I know what it is.
And so like I saw this guy like diving through like a tunnel, and I was just so fixated on it. I was like, oh. And then I like pointed to the TV screen. I mean, I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I want to do that. So I don't know if really I was thinking like I wanted to go through portals.
Yeah.
if I wanted to act, but now that I'm older, I'm like, I've done both. So,
Hey, there you go. It's even better.
so yeah, it was from that moment that I was like, I want to be an actor. Like, this is what I want to do. Like I like screamed it from the rooftops, until everyone was like, shut up.
Yeah. So then, how did like the audition process go for you, or like the beginning of it, or getting a agent? What was that beginning stage like?
I manifested it. No, I'm just kidding. I
You dreamed it, and the next day it happened.
it was well, not that much longer that I decided that I wanted to do it. I put it in my book. I went to McDonald's, and I was actually noticed at McDonald's. A woman came up to my mother and said, "Is that your daughter?" My mom said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh my God, she's so this and that, blah, 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 blah." She didn't even know me, but I guess she liked me. I don't know. So my mom called me over, and I met her, and I shook her hand, and it was, done after that, done deal.
How was it, eh?
Yeah. And then I went from getting a commercial agent, so she handled commercials and TV, but I started with commercial. And then that I eventually did a whole bunch of commercials. So then she put me into TV, and then I started doing TV. And then I got into auditioning for movie films. I got into that. And eventually I got so busy that I needed a manager. So I got a manager. I got a modeling agent. I was with Ford. And it all spiraled.
That's awesome. So, do you remember what your first commercial was?
Oh, my first commercial.
No, that might be a tough question.
No. You know what? I think it was a Bath Magic Barbie commercial.
Okay. Hey, that makes sense.
And you can still find it on YouTube.
No way, really? Is it just can you just search up like Bath Barbie Amanda Shepherd?
Bath Magic Barbie. I was probably 6 years old, so I don't know, maybe put in like the year. It shows up. I'm in a tub with another girl in a bathing suit.
Oh, okay.
Bath Magic Barbie.
I love it. So, it's weird because your IMDb is odd because I know you have a lot more acting credits than it shows on there. So,
Yeah.
The shows or movies that you auditioned for and then eventually got before Hocus Pocus, what were those?
Yeah. So, of course, they only put Hocus Pocus because it's the only one that's, Hocus Pocus.
I guess, but that's so weird to me. Like, you would think like they would put anything.
I know. So it's like, okay, like forget about like the 80+ commercials she did, that doesn't matter. I was on a show called One World, which was a Disney show. And then I was on, I don't know if you remember this show. It was so embarrassing, but it was called The Roseanne Show.
Yeah, okay.
So I was on that show. And then I was also, this is something nobody knows, and perhaps I was happy that it wasn't on there because it's somewhat embarrassing, but it's part of my past. So I played Ginger Lynn as a young child. She used to be a porn star. And so I played her as a child.
No, interesting.
Yeah.
See, this is what IMDb is missing. Like it's like I would have been prepared to talk about that. That is so weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then and then there was just some films which I can't credit because even though I did the work, they ended up like cutting it out, and so that didn't make it. One of them was like something called like My Brother the Pig. So that was a bummer. And then I got a role. I booked the role for A Little Princess, which was a big film. And then on the day that I was supposed to show up for wardrobe, they were like, "Oh, we decided to go with a different girl." But come to find out, it was like some exec's daughter, Of
course.
So, yeah.
That's brutal. So then, like, when you when you were growing up and you were getting these roles and stuff, did you have friends that were doing the same, or did you just kind of have friends that were just doing normal stuff? Quote unquote normal.
I mean, I mean, to be honest, in school, I did have normal friends, but because I worked so much, my friends ended up being all the girls that I went on auditions with.
Right.
You know, so yeah. So a lot of them were working girls, and they're people that you still see on the red carpet.
That's awesome. So
they're a little like me.
were you homeschooled then pretty young?
I was put in Catholic school because Catholic school is more lenient in regards to working kids. So I probably spent half of my time in school and half on set.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's at least a little bit more normal for someone that's acting, because like a lot of the time it's just strict, like right away it's right to homeschool for most child actors.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was never homeschool. It was set school.
Yeah.
And the set school is like, I mean, I don't know what it is nowadays, but it's not school.
No.
No.
I guess, I mean, it would be a lot easier to be distracted on set school than it would be normal school. No.
Well, yeah, because they're constantly pulling you out and then putting you back in. But also there isn't really a curriculum. You know, it's like, oh, you're working, but I'm the teacher, so tell us what your teacher at your school gave you to do.
See, that's where I would be like the worst kid and just lie and make stuff up so I wouldn't have to do too much. Like I would just be like, oh, actually, it was only like this much work we had to do. They'd be like, oh,
that's what I did. That's what I did. I was like, I already did all my work.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I would do. Anything to get out of doing it.
Yeah, and I brought coloring books, so I was like, can I just color? She was like, okay.
Oh, amazing. So then fast forward a little bit from the commercials, the movies, the TV shows, you eventually get auditioned for Hocus Pocus. So at the time, do you remember like did you know what the part was right away when you were auditioning?
I did. I read the entire script.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I was like super intense into whatever I did. And so I read the whole script, and even though I knew it was an extremely small role, I knew that it was an important role. So yeah, I went in like, I want to get this. Like, I really want this. So yeah.
And how old were you when you read the entire script?
Oh God, I was like 7.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's not even really like something I learned in acting school, because I don't even think I went to acting school at that point. But something that I just naturally did is I would read scripts, and I would memorize everybody's parts. I would do the whole 9 yards. And my mom's like, why are you doing that? Like, you don't need to know that. And I'm like, yes, I do. But I really didn't. I didn't need to know that.
I mean, it's nice. It's a nice thing to do. Just like then you feel like you're more prepared, even though like obviously you would just have your
there's some.
There's more a part of it too, because like I feel like for you didn't get to be with the main cast, so like for you got to learn more about the entire movie.
Yeah. So I think that for me, what it did for me is it just made me feel like I was already a part of the film, and gave me a full, rounded vibe of the entire film. And so, because I wanted to feel into it, you know. So even though my part was like this big, you know.
Hey, you're one of the first people you see in the movie, so
I was still very much interested in it, and I think any kid would be. You know, it's a Halloween movie, so you know it's a fun movie.
Do you remember before Hocus Pocus, like any specific Halloween movies or anything that you liked growing up?
Oh God. Um. uh, well, this is a love-hate. Because it probably traumatized me for the rest of my life, and I don't think I could ever see it. I mean, I've still seen it a couple of times, and I every time I see it, I'm like, never again, never again. And that's The Exorcist.
Oh, no.
Isn't that heavy?
Yeah, no chance. I've watched.
Oh my
I think I
God.
might have watched it once, and that's more than enough for me.
That's it, right? It's this literally the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life.
And you're talking about the original,
Until
right?
this point, the original.
Yeah.
The original.
Yeah.
No scary movie compares to that.
Which is so crazy because like it was so long ago, and you think that like a lot of the times with older movies, they get a little cheesy because of how old they are, but not the
Not The Exorcist.
No.
It just it gets creepier. Like
Yeah.
the oldness like adds to the creepiness now.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm a big like just like fan of Halloween, like the time, but more so for me, it's like more like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, like those movies and stuff. I'll watch like actual scary movies sometimes, but
Yeah.
Exorcist is a no for me.
Yeah, me too.
Jeez, and wow, yeah, no, I love that you brought that one up because yeah, definitely not one that I go to my way to watch ever.
I know. I'm trying to like who would like
Yeah.
yeah.
So for Emily, how many? Do you remember how many like callbacks you had?
So by that time, like I was already like, I don't know, I considered myself a pro, even though I was like a kid and wasn't.
Yeah.
But I had gone on enough interviews at that point to where that I always got on in the last callback. So I never had to go through. I mean, sometimes I did. Like one time I was interviewing for, I think it's called the show called The Practice with David E. Kelly. And so I think I went through like 3 or 4 or 5 auditions. But anyways, but this one specifically, I just got in on the last one. And in fact, I was the last person to get auditioned.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So
I
you
was
definitely left a lasting imprint.
I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah. And when you did these, I don't know if you had to do them with the other role or other auditions, but did you do like a reading with anyone from the cast, or was it just with like the casting director?
It was just with Kenny.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow! So it was with Kenny. That's even cooler.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really sweet.
He was really cool, really nice. And
I was
person.
I was just rewatching the 25th anniversary, which is crazy because now it's the 30th. But and I was watching it with my fiance, and she's a big High School Musical fan. So when he came on there, she didn't know that he was the director of High School Musical. So I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that he did Hocus Pocus. And she goes, why? Who's that? I said, he directed High School Musical. She goes, what? And then she got a lot more interested in watching it after that.
And this is it too with Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, that too, right? And she's also a big Michael Jackson fan. Yeah, he also did.
Insane?
He also did the parade scene in Ferris Bueller.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he choreographed that.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been around.
He's been around, yeah.
So no, that's really cool that he was in the reading with you. That's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So getting eventually, then you got the role of Emily. What was like just being on that set like? Because it was at the Disney lot, right?
Yeah, it was a Disney lot for me. And so it was really cool. Like they got the vibe, they got the smells, like they had like leaves in there, old smelling wood, just they nailed it, like as far as like being something that just felt so Halloween and magical, and yeah, just with the smells and everything, it was perfect.
I love that. So it was you, and then the actor that played Thackeray, and then there was one other like kid with you guys. It was like his friend. Yeah, it was like his friend or something. So then it was the 3 of you guys, and then of course the big three: Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. So obviously, being that young, you probably didn't really know about at least Bette Midler, if not the other two as well. But just like being able to work with like a few adults like that, what was that like for you?
That was really, I mean, I knew who Bette Midler was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I right away, I was in fan mode when I saw Bette Midler. I was just like, whoa, like I was very intimidated. And then Sarah Jessica Parker, I didn't know the other two witches, but I look back and I go, oh my God, Sarah Jessica Parker did some freaking amazing films. Like she was in Ed Wood. I don't know if you ever saw that with.
I haven't.
But yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker, she's done a lot of really cool films that I don't think people know. She's done a lot, some really cool work. And Kathy Najimy, I had no clue of. And maybe because I was like the least afraid of her, like she gravitated towards me. And so she was always like picking me up and carrying me around. And she was really sweet, really down to earth.
So you say how like you didn't have that big of a part, but I mean, I think you did. You were the beginning of the movie, which to me is pretty important. But so only having like a few scenes as compared to the rest of the movie, how long did like the filming take for you?
Oh my God.
I know it's an intense
months and months and months.
Really?
Yeah. Because well, first of all, they do 1 million takes. Secondly, they don't decide in what order they want to do which scenes. So I was constantly on set, on standby for when they decided, okay, yeah, let's do this scene now. Because they do it all out of order.
Right.
Yeah.
True. So then that made it feel even longer then for you, I would assume.
Yeah.
There's a Elijah Wood story that I saw you tell in another interview. Would you be able to tell it on here for the listeners?
Sure. Yeah. So the Disney lot's a big lot, right? And so they're filming a bunch of other films on the lot. And during my breaks, I would see these boys and they were playing basketball. And I saw one and I was like, oh my gosh, I like him so much. Oh no. Because they told me, don't wander off, don't go anywhere. And so I tried to act like one of the boys, like, can I play? Which is probably not a good approach if you like a guy, And so I ended up playing with them and I ended up talking to Elijah and then we ended up becoming friends and he went to the rap party and we went to Disneyland together and he has a younger sister as well. I believe she's younger. So I became friends with her as well. But we never,
That was that. It never got farther than that.
Yeah, we just became friends.
Hey, still, that's pretty cool. It's better than not being friends with him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. and him being in what was the movie he was in?
Lord of the Rings?
No, I mean like the one he was filming then.
Oh, Huck Finn.
Huck Finn, sorry, yeah. So him being Huck Finn was a big deal, and then he moved on to like Lord of the Rings. Like he grew that much bigger is insane.
Yeah, isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that kid. Yeah, he is a talented, extremely talented actor, even as a kid.
Yeah.
So was Thora.
Yeah,
Thora.
that's
brilliant. Yeah.
And she's such like a little smart ass too. Like she just played that. She played that role perfectly.
I know, and that's how like I knew her in real life. So it was. Perfectly fitting. She's very sassy. I tell a story where we went in to do our makeup and she's telling the makeup artist, like, I can do this myself, thanks.
Yeah, I love that you're still able to like, you were around them too, though. That's pretty sweet, seeing as you guys never really shared any scenes together. I guess the end one, were you guys actually together or no?
The end. What do you mean, the end scene?
Yeah, like when you say the
Yeah,
Thatcher,
no, that was
yours
yeah,
by
totally
yourself.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, how did you guys end up like hanging out together then, if you guys were never actually working together?
Because we were always on set. Yeah.
Oh, got
On
you.
set. So we were always crossing each other. We were always talking to each other. I used to always go, like, me and my mom and Vanessa and her mom would go. There was like a Subway on the lot. We'd always go to lunch at Subway together. So yeah, we were always hanging out with each other. Especially, going to lunch, being on set, even though we didn't do much like together on set.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that they were able to like the team or like the higher ups had you guys together still, because it made you probably feel like you were more a part of it than you were.
Yeah, for sure.
That's sweet. So was there one thing I as I was going through other interviews with you, I never really heard you talk about Hocus Pocus premiere. Do you remember that? Any interesting stories you have from it?
Yeah, well, not interesting, but I did go, and we all saw it, and we were like, "Oh, this is gonna be huge," And then I remember walking out, and there was already, people asking for my autograph, and thinking like, this is going to be a big deal, but not then.
Oh, and now that's the next thing I was going to bring up. So it was even weirder to start because they released it in July, which is a really weird time to release a Halloween movie. But I read that it was to take advantage of kids not being in school, like they can't go to the movies during the school year.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
know whose idea was that, but I'm not going to say.
As well as, I mean, this one makes a little bit more sense, but I don't think they knew how big it would be. Is that The Nightmare Before Christmas came out that October, around then. But at the same time, it's like they probably could have competed with one another. So that was a little odd to me. So I think for the numbers it did, that's probably another big reason, was that because a Halloween movie in July.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the box office, I read, did only 39 million.
Oh, wow.
Right. Which is crazy to think that, because like now 30 years later, it is so much bigger.
I know.
So again, maybe the summer thing had to do with it. So for you thinking, and I'm sure I guarantee you weren't the only one thinking this is going to be huge, it's going to be so big, when it didn't do as well as everybody thought. Do you remember that?
No, because I was so busy. I was working all the time, and I was so busy. It wasn't even a second thought, because there was nobody feeding me. Like, my mom was never feeding me like, Amanda, this is going to be a big deal. She was never feeding me any type of like fluff or anything. Everything was on my own. So it was just like, I transitioned from, I did this movie, I think it could pop off, and then when it didn't, I really wasn't thinking about it because I was so busy.
Fair.
I'm sure I had a moment, but I can't remember it. I can't remember where I'm like, gosh darn it, like,
yeah.
Damn it, because I was already doing so many other things that I was just probably like, like on to the next.
On to the next one. Yeah, exactly. This episode is brought to you by Sampac Construction. I'm probably the least handiest person I know. And by probably, I mean I am the least handiest person I know. But that's where Sampac Construction comes in. From construction management to framing to back framing to renovations, fencing and decking to custom builds, they literally do it all. They offer services through the GTA and surrounding areas. You can email them today at sampatconstruction@live.ca to book their services. Again, that is sampatconstruction@live.ca. All right, let's keep going with the episode. I mean, maybe with what I just had mentioned about it being in July, in your mind, why do you think it didn't do what it should have done or what it could have done when it was originally released?
Besides the timing, I think that it had to win people's hearts in the beginning, because it's almost something that grew on people. You know what I mean? So it's not something that catches your eye immediately, but if it's put in front of your face enough times, it kind of starts to feel like home, and you start connecting to it, coupled with like dry spells of good Halloween movies.
Yeah.
And they're feeding everyone Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
So they almost like, we almost all got conditioned to liking that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's some conditioning there, and and at the same time, also, it is perfect timing right now because everybody is so into like witchiness and like magic and spirituality, which involves like a lot of witchy stuff, So it's like, that's cool right now. That stuff is cool right now. So it's magical timing. But not only that, I also mentioned somewhere else, just everybody just kind of being at their peak, during those years, like the acting, like I feel like everybody was like at their peak. So it was like best performances by everybody. And then just like the energy of the film just really hitting your heart and really feeling like home, like, So there's a lot of different things involved.
And now it's a cult classic. So 30 years later, shout out to the haters, eh?
Right? Yeah.
That's amazing. I wasn't alive when it came out. So for me, being like -3 when the movie came out, it's crazy even for me to think that it's a 30-year-old movie now. Because I remember watching it as a kid and be like, oh yeah, like this movie's like a few years old or like 10 years old or whatever at the time. But I'm like, the fact that it hit 30 years and it's getting even bigger. I mean, the sequel definitely helped as well, but it's just the love and appreciation for the movie. It's insane. It's granted because it's a really good movie.
Yeah, I just can't believe they're coming out with a Hocus Pocus 3. I'm like, what?
They are?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Is this breaking news? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any like other insight about this?
No, I got notified, and I was just like, well, all right.
Well, you heard it here first from Emily Binx herself that there's gonna be a Hocus Pocus 3. So
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So right away everyone's like, are you gonna be in it? Are you gonna be in it? And then I'm like, no.
And that's another.
And that's like, yeah, like I even believe it's like, if say I wasn't in the movie and I was a writer, or I was a director or something like that, like I would even be able to feel into the fans, like, we want some of the oldies, we want to like keep this real. So I don't know why they're not. Yeah, I don't know why they're not doing that.
I see, and that's one thing I was going to bring up to you is like Omni, Thora, Vanessa, Larry, Tobias, like you. I don't
any of them.
When I saw the trailer for the second one, I was so excited, and then when I watched it, yeah, it was a good movie, but the fact that none of you guys were in it was really, really weird.
Yeah, I mean, thank God, like I got a little clip. So I was like, woo!
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, you did get a little. You got a cameo.
I got a little cameo. So I was like, woohoo! I made it.
How would that work? Would you technically get paid for that?
Yeah. The production company actually reached out to me and gave me a contract right away. And I thought I was going to show up on set. I was like, all right, well, what time do you want me to show up? And they're like, no, we just want a clip, like, and so I had to, I had to modify the contract a little bit, before
they wanted you, so you could change it all you want.
Yeah, so I modified it. I made it good. And then I signed it. So it's all good.
Smart. When you guys all heard, because I know you're obviously good friends with all the original cast members. When you guys heard about the second one and realized none of you are going to be in it, what was what were those conversations like?
Well, I know Doug. Doug was happy to be in it.
Fair. Yeah, that's true. I guess, yeah, Doug was in it.
He's like, I can still fit into this
Yeah.
zombie suit. But the rest of the cast, yeah, I'm sure they were just thinking, yeah, like, why don't they throw like one of us in there, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that they wanted to like try to appeal to like new fans, maybe, I guess, because like they had such a younger, like, it's like they redid it in a way, because like the main characters in the second one are around the same age as the main characters in the first one. That's the only thing I can think of. But no,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were disappointed.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me at all. Yeah.
You mentioned a third one coming out. Do you think they're gonna do anything with original cast members in that one?
I think it's already almost done filming.
Really?
Yeah. From what I know, nobody has said anything about, like, none of the other castmates have said about anything about being in it, except for, I believe the witches will be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even Doug?
Doug hasn't said anything, so I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe he's keeping it a secret.
Maybe.
But the cool thing about it being a cult classic is you go to all these conventions and you get to hang out with all the original cast members. So when did Hocus Pocus come back to you?
So this was when I was in real estate, and I was sitting in my office, and I got a phone call from Cosmopolitan, and gosh, that was, let me think, maybe 2015, 16, something like that. So that's when it started to pop off. It was almost like they had already hit all the other cast members, and they're like, wait, there's one more.
We need the last one.
Yeah. So once again, I was last for everything. So then they're like, Emily Binx, let's track her down. So then once Cosmopolitan hit, then it was like E! News and just,
Was it like a Where Are They Now kind of thing originally?
Yeah, it was like a Where Are They Now? What is she up to?
Yeah.
Look at her now. She's still alive,
Yeah. At least you weren't part of any death hoax, were you?
No.
Actually,
no. I think there was one.
Really?
Yeah, there was one.
There's everybody, all child actors, I feel like, have those.
They all, yeah, we all do. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So it went from interviews with Cosmopolitan, E! News, and then when did conventions and like meet and greets and all those things come up with you? Like, did you have contact with any of the original cast members at that point?
At that point, I didn't. It wasn't until the 25th anniversary, where I performed at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, that we all reconnected, and it just felt like home. Like, not even because we did a movie together, but we just all vibed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all like crazily like vibed. Like, they could have been strangers, not even like from the film, but if you put us all in a room, like, it was magic.
Right.
Like, I right away, like, Doug started talking to me. I started talking to Doug. Like, we just clicked, right away. And then I saw Vanessa and started talking to her. We clicked right away. Just everybody. Like, Larry, so after that, we all kept in contact with each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying this just because like I'm talking to you now, but like this has to be one of like the few casts that after even 30 years, you guys look relatively the same. Obviously, I know like you were like little, but still like you look at Omni, he just has a beard now. You look at Thor, she's just taller. Vanessa looks almost the exact same. Like the entire cast, like you guys look a lot like basically the same.
A little preserved.
There you go. There's a word to use.
Thank you.
But like, yeah, like when I was watching the 25th anniversary thing today, I was like, yeah, like there's not a huge difference.
Wow. That's crazy to think. 30 years. Damn.
I know. Isn't that nuts? Again, I was -3. So, after, or not even after, but in between like the meet and greets, the conventions, you doing interviews like this, you wrote a book.
Yeah, I
So
did.
becoming multidimensional. Can you kind of give like a summary of what the book is?
Sure. So here's my book. I'm going to cue my book in now.
Perfect.
Bam.
That's why I brought it up.
So this book right here, this book is about my life. And even though it seems like a spiritual book, which it is, like I include my entire life, like condensed this big. So you get all the inside scoop of what it was like acting growing up and all the things that like I will never share in videos. No offense.
Hey, you know what? That's okay.
And then I go through my near-death experience, where I lost my mind. But at the same time, like, you know, third eye opened all my abilities. And then it goes through my my spiritual journey, where I talk about healing and psychic mediumship, medical mediumship, all this like witchy stuff, like all this witchy stuff. And just basically, yeah, it's the hero's journey. So it's like how I basically like died, you know, and came back from the dead, and found my purpose in life and found my passion and yeah, so it ends up being a very happy story, but extremely tumultuous all the way through. Yeah.
Now, what made you decide, hey, I'm gonna become an author. I'm gonna write a book.
Oh God, do you want to hear the truth?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Okay.
So I was dreaming. I'm a big dreamer. So I was dreaming, and all of a sudden this spirit came to me, and I don't know if it was an angel or a guide, but it was a very positive energy. And this I'll just say an angel. So because he was off, you know, giving good, you know, loving advice. So this beautiful angel came to me, or just say beautiful soul came to me, and said, start documenting your life. And I'm like, why? I said, and so then I knew this person was talking about writing a book. So I said, start documenting my life. For what? For a book? You know? And the spirit said, yes. I said, nobody's going to want to read my book. Who's going to want to read my book? And then the spirit said, people will like it. So just do it. Start documenting your life. And then I woke up.
Wow. How long did it take you to write it?
It only took me, I did not hire a ghostwriter. I'm very proud of that. But it only took me, I don't know, 2 or 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like when I, and mind you, before I had that dream, I had no idea what I was going to write about. Like it wasn't on my mind. It wasn't on my radar. But after that dream, all of a sudden the ideas started to boop, 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 boop. And like all of a sudden I had like a whole book.
Wow.
Within just like a couple days, you know. And then I did my own research on how to write a book, how to format a book, how to structure a book. And then I literally from all day, all night, every single day was writing for, for like 2 months. And then it took a month to actually, after working with the publishing company takes a lot because you're working with so many other people. And you're trying to get them to understand your vision and what you want and what you want it to look like and all that. So, but it wasn't a tedious process for me because everything, it was like, I once I started, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop, in fact, I had to find ways to condense it.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's how it started.
So what's the feedback been like since the book's been released?
It's been like this. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Oh. I mean, you had to expect that, I would assume.
and then they look at me differently because when you look at me, you would never think that I went through all that.
Well,
you know,
you went
they're
through,
like,
right?
no way, because I'm always like, hey, how are you? How's it going?
Right.
You know what I mean? So when they read the back of the book, even just the back of the book, or the first few pages of the book, they right away, like, they come up to me like all sly, like, I read some of your book and I'm so sorry you went through that. like you deserve the world.
Yeah, I'm assuming you expected reactions like that, though.
Like they just feel bad for me, and then I'm just like no, like I'm good, like I'm all right, and like if you want to, like, finish the book, and then when you finish the book, you'll be like, who does she think she is?
You'll feel a bit better after that, right?
Yeah.
So, but when, like, all these things that you had went through, I'm assuming you weren't really telling many people. This is why it sounds like it was such a big surprise to most people who are now reading it.
Yeah, it was a shock.
Yeah.
It was a shock to a lot of people. But at the same time, I felt that I have to be transparent, about it. That's why people write memoirs. It's to be, honest, about the struggles that you've gone through. And I don't think enough people are being that blatantly honest about their dark times, or they kind of gloss over it a little bit. Where in my book, I'm just like,
here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that's so much better though. Like, if you're gonna tell your story, you got to tell your story. Like, I think that if you don't hide anything, I think that makes it that much better.
Yeah. So before I put it out, it was terrifying, and when you're writing a book, you're reliving also every part of the book. So it's a very healing experience as well, because you're going through all the traumatic experiences in your life, and you're having to relive it, with like all the adjectives.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you're having to go through it. So there are times that I was typing and like I had to stop and just cry it out and be like, oh my God, like I can't believe like I survived this. Like I can't believe I went through this. Like, and I'd have to go through the emotions of it again. But thank God, like it's been so long and I've healed so much. And this is why you should never write a memoir unless you're like way past that time in your life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I could cry and I could feel it. But at the same time, I knew like this was the past.
Right.
This is who I used to be a long, 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 long time ago. I'm not the same person. Yeah.
I don't think the book would be I don't know what the word is. I just don't think the book would be as good if you were still going through it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it probably wouldn't make it wouldn't make much sense, but like there's not an end to it. There wasn't a happy ending. Like clearly there is, right?
Yeah.
It's like the end of the book would be like, yeah, and this is still happening. It's like, okay. Right? It's like that's just like,
like why are you writing a book then? You
want like a success story like yours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was there any things that you had written that were like too intense that you took it out, or that just didn't make it in general?
No,
you just left it all out.
I threw everything. I threw everything in there. I'm even going back and thinking about some of the things that I wrote that like, I'm like, I can't believe I put that in there. But you got to, I had to,
Absolutely.
and I just had to look at it. This is kind of like an egotistical way to look at it, but I'm like, I need to be a rock star about it. Like, I need to go all out, like get as gritty and like as dark as possible, or it's not going to be a good read.
No, and then have you had people that went through maybe the same type of thing that you did reach out to you? Maybe along the lines, maybe not exactly what happened, but like just like that.
Oh yeah. I've had a lot of people reach out to me that had similar experiences, and I thought, man, I'm so happy I wrote this. Like, I didn't think anybody was going to respond to it, and I got emails that were like days long, from people saying how much they could relate to it and how it made them feel so much better. And then on the other end too, like all the people that are going through a spiritual awakening at this time are like, I don't know who to talk to about this. Like, I'm having similar experiences and I don't want anyone to think I'm crazy, And so I feel like I've kind of in a way become a mentor to some people to guide them through their awakening process.
Yeah. Do you feel like you now is someone that you wish you had when you were going through it?
F yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was very fortunate because at the time that I was having my awakening, there's a saying that goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? But when the student is really ready, the teachers disappear. So all my teachers have disappeared. But in my learning phase, in the beginning of my awakening, and all these gifts are developing, and I'm like, how do I even function in this world now? When like I know the truth of this reality, and this is not even as real as like experiences I've had out of body. It doesn't even compare. And so slowly teachers started to come my way, like literally, like just come to me. Like I can't explain it. And so I'd learn from one teacher, and then once they were done teaching me, say like after a year, then all of a sudden another teacher would come in and take me under their wing, and then I'd be with them for a series of years, and then another teacher would come in and take me under their wing. So it was just it was crazy. Like I felt like an apprentice. So I was very fortunate, very lucky, and blessed. Because I know a lot of people out there are not having those experiences. They don't have the people to come and help them and guide them. So.
As I was reading in the intro, you've done a lot of different things over the years. So can you take me through, before I let you go, a day in the life of Amanda Shepherd? Like, what's like a regular Monday like for you?
Well, it depends. If I'm not touring, then it's most likely sleeping. But no, I do my healing work. You can find me at Shekinah-speaks.com. And there I offer long distance Reiki. I offer DNA activations. I offer Kundalini yoga. And then I'm going to soon be offering, I'm an herbalist as well. I'll be teaching about shamanic herbalism and folk herbalism as well.
Awesome. That's sweet. This time of the year, we mentioned earlier, it must be really, really busy for you. Now that when this is out, it's technically Halloween. What's like the rest of the year like as like doing things for the character Emily Binx? Does it die down a little bit?
No.
With Halloween being over, it doesn't? No. Okay. But that's crazy. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'll probably be asked to be shipped out somewhere. And I'm excited for that.
There's always, once you're a fan of the movie, you're a fan of the movie. I guess it really doesn't matter the time of the year, right?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that's crazy about the Hocus Pocus fans is they're Halloween all year. They're Halloween all year.
Right, absolutely, 100. I don't blame them because it is such a good movie, and I know we talked about this earlier, but I really just wish that you guys were all in the second one, and now
I
you mentioned there's a third
know.
one. I just wish you guys were in it because it would just make so much more sense. There's so many movies that like do sequels however many years later, and they bring back all the original cast. As many people that will do it. I don't know if you can confirm this, but I did read that they asked Thora Birch to be in it, and she couldn't
Mm.
because of scheduling conflicts. You have any idea about that?
I believe I heard something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, that would have been really cool to have her in it. But again, it's just weird, like
Yeah,
that they only asked her. Like that's weird,
that is.
right?
I
So I don't
know.
know. I
It's
don't
so
know.
weird.
I guess it's a mystery.
I know. It's like I try to put myself in their, in that mindset,
Hmm.
of the people creating these films, and I'm still like, what?
Yeah, like I don't know how well the second one did, but I feel like it would have done that much better.
It would have done a lot better.
Right, that would it would have been cool like to see Emily Binx ghost. Like I know it wouldn't make sense because she died as a kid, but like as an adult. I mean, you can do whatever. It's a kids movie. You can make up whatever you want,
Yeah.
right?
But I do agree with you. I think it would have been better
Hmm.
if, yeah, for sure. So I don't know. They would have got better numbers. It just everything would have been better. Yeah.
And it would, and they probably would have.
But I don't want to knock the kids because the kids who did a fabulous
Oh,
job.
100%, 100%. But I just, yeah, they did do a good job, and it's a hilarious movie. It makes me feel like I'm watching the first one as a kid again in a way.
Yeah.
Same feeling as the first one, but it just, yeah, there are a few things they could have done differently. At least they didn't release it in July,
Yeah.
right?
They
That
definitely
probably helped. Yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, Amanda, one last thing actually before I let you go. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
My favorite Halloween
The most
candy.
basic question in the world to ask someone that was in a Halloween movie. I know.
Does it have to be like an actual Halloween candy?
No, I guess like they just like I guess candy in general. You remember like picking out the bag specifically as a kid?
Probably like the Reese's Pieces or the Snickers.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I wasn't into like the candy corns or anything like that.
Candy corn's disgusting. I'll tell that
It's
to
so
anyone.
gross.
It's
So
so gross.
nasty. So, like
I don't
I was
want to eat a vegetable as a candy.
I know.
Right? It's no. I thank God you didn't say candy corn. But yes, okay. So Amanda, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Oh my
spending
god.
an hour with me, asking my silly questions, and being able to talk to the Emily Binx of Hocus Pocus. So
Oh, you're
yeah,
so sweet. You had
thank you.
friends.
Yeah, thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the year with all the appearances I know you'll be doing as Emily Binx and all
Thank
of
you.
the spiritual stuff you're going through because it is a lot. I'll be sure to get a book so I can know everything about what really happened because I am really interested. There it is again, right there, becoming multidimensional by Amanda Shepard. So yeah, okay, Amanda. Well, I'll talk to you later. Thank you again so much, and
Thank
happy
you so
Halloween.
much. Happy Halloween.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
And that was the Quinn Marr Show.